This is the Traders Exclusive Live Trader Showcase. I'm Sherry. This is the quarterly event where we feature expert traders and bring you training and insights from 20 expert traders. We have prize giveaways for everyone in attendance. We're going to do some drawings. We have some surprise interviews. Please check out tradersexclusive.com, where we regularly post articles and video clips with valuable trading tips and techniques. This is also where you're going to find the recordings for this event. And before we get started, we have to share a quick disclaimer. You know it. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources. You may lose all or more of your initial investment. Opinions, market data, and recommendations are subject to change at any time. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This is training. You have to do your own research, and you should always verify and research. Kenny Glick is up next. Patrick, ask and ye shall receive. Welcome, sir.
Hey, can we show my silly looking face on the screen too?
Sure, let me make you a presenter. Just a second. Let me turn you into the presenter.
I got all dolled up for the event.
Now, there you go, Kenny. Awesome. I think we have a few people in the room that have been waiting for you.
They all wait for the king. How are you, everybody? Good to see you. I hope you're shorting the queues right now. We're going to get right into it. We're trading right now, so it's fun because I'll show you a couple of trades that we did this morning. I'll show you what we're in right now, and we'll talk about the horrifying early exit on my one winner. But hey, let me see if I could get.
Hey, Kenny.
Yep.
Did you share your camera?
Not the camera yet.
Your screen, but I don't see you.
Yeah, I got screen up, and it did.
It should give you an option to share your webcam.
Yeah, I'm clicking on what looks like the webcam, but nothing's happening. It's still grayed out. I don't have access.
Oh. Well, you're an organizer and a presenter, so just don't hit the X at the top of the box.
Okay.
But you know what you can do is stop sharing, and then I'm going to send you a webcam request. Did it open it up for you?
I got it now. You guys see me?
Wait, nope.
I'm on TV.
Nope. All we can see is there you are. How you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, before you get started, I know I'm cutting into your time, but it's okay. You have some prizes, 4 prizes. Did you know that, or did Sherry do that for you?
Oh yeah, I know it. I love giving prizes, and I love singing songs. I like some prizes, even though it's the wrong lyric. Yeah, let's give them away, Sherry.
So I was thinking we should do 2 now, and then I could do 2 tomorrow. Would that be okay?
All day, all night, Mary Ann.
All right.
Let's go.
What do you think about giving away? Would you tell us what the schmooze is?
Well, the schmooze is tonight. So again, it's actually an extravaganza. So we love what we do so much, showing people how to trade and, teach them a little bit about what we do every day. Again, I do a live webinar like this from 8 o'clock in the morning till 11:30 every single day with my 2 partners. I'm basically going strong from, 8 till about 11:30. Then I got a couple of partners that come on. When options started trading on a weekly basis, we started getting together on Thursday night because it was something new and exciting to plan our attack for the Friday options, because weekly options was a godsend. And a lot of technology companies were reporting on Thursday. You had Google, Apple, Amazon coming out on Thursdays. So we get our members and we started just hanging out. It was like 5 or 10 of us. Next thing you know, it was 20 of us, 100 of us. And then 400 or 500 of us started showing up on Thursday nights. And now we've got weekly expiration. These daily expirations are awesome. And by the way, if anybody's still short the queues right now, what's up, everybody? We are still short the queues. We are looking for a full-blown retrace on this thing. But the Thursday schmooze, not only do I want to offer that to everybody here, just send me an email, thewarlock@hitthebid.com. We can't let everybody in, but what we're going to talk more about today is just setting up charts and setting up and how I trade VWAP and how I trade the stocks. All of my trades are generally optionable. I'm usually trading the Qs. Today we traded Coinbase and Square. I trade a lot of options on, earnings reports. So again, tonight, just drop us an email, thewarlock@hitthebid.com. Most of you guys will be allowed in. And then what I'm going to offer somebody else is an extra grand prize, is a month access to hanging out with me and my crew. So again, I do appreciate what Doc, let's give it up for Doc. The guy was just banging out valuable nuggets of wisdom there, starting small. All the questions that you had for Doc, I could probably answer them myself right now. He did a great job talking about, whether these trades are good for small accounts. But before we get started, just send us that email, thewarlock@hitthebid.com. Tonight, I got to go. I busted my leg playing pickleball. That's right. Make fun of me. I got to get an MRI. Usually we start around 7:30, 8 o'clock, but tonight we'll probably start around 9. So just drop us an email and then
do me a favor. I put your email in the chat so everybody can hit you up for the schmooze.
cool.
But now let's do it. Let's give away this prize. We're going to do one of your 4-week memberships.
Yes.
But don't put any numbers in yet, you guys. Okay, pick a number, Kenny, from 1 to 500. Don't tell us what it is, of course.
Oh, some of my friends probably know what number I just picked, but I got one.
Okay, you got it? Okay, everybody, put your number in for, we're doing a draw for a 4-week membership.
Can they go over?
All right.
Is Price is Right?
This is the fairest way I could think of to reward the people who are in attendance, right? I didn't want to make it, we're going to make a draw afterwards, blah, blah, blah. I really like it that they're seeing you, hearing you, and it's way more interactive than a lot of the other events that are out there today. And that's what we wanted. We wanted this to be something really exciting and fun for everybody.
Very cool.
All right, guys, you got 10 more seconds to get this in because we're already 7 minutes into Kenny's time. You just put it on 1.5 and talk faster, right?
Yeah. Oh, I can talk fast.
And only put your number in once. Don't make me have to decide if I've seen your name up here before. Yes, Audrey, you're in the right place. They're still coming in, Kenny.
Very cool.
Oh, my word. Any number between 1 and 500, but don't put in more than once. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cut off. Okay, tell us your number.
243.
243. All right, let me see if I got a 243. And then what we usually will do is pick the one that's closest if there isn't an exact. 243. All right, I got a 240. Let's see. I got a 243. Mitch wins. Let me make sure we don't have more than one 243.
Tasty, Mitch. He's tasty.
243 wins it. 243. That's
wow.
Mitch.
Very cool.
Okay, Mitch, what you got to do is you got to send me an email. Oh, wait, Peter also put 243. We do have 2 of those up for grabs.
Peter's probably my cousin.
Peter Rosenberg?
Oh, no, I don't know that Rosenberg guy. He could be my cousin.
Okay. Everybody's your cousin today.
All right, Glick, we're covering some cues here, boys and girls. If you guys are
take it away. I didn't even introduce you, so you're going to have to do that yourself.
Oh,
and I'll mute myself and let you take it away and deal with your prizes.
Wow. All right. Yeah. So again, all that great stuff. And the biggest prize right now is you're looking at me. The biggest prize right now is we're trading live, and I'm going to show you why we're in this trade, and it's still working right now. So I'm going to walk you through exactly why I'm in this trade, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. I'll introduce myself while we're doing this because I am in this trade right now. Really no reason to cover. I'm going to place stops, and I'll show you why I'm placing these stops. Right now, 308.70 is a stop, and 309.25, and I'll explain in a second because I trade only price. Again, there's only 2 lines on your chart right now. The blue line is VWAP, and the orange line is what we call multi-day VWAP, otherwise known in some circles as anchored VWAP. Anchored VWAP by Brian Shannon. If you're going to read a book in this industry, this is the book to read. He's my hero. He introduced me to VWAP trading about 11 or 12 years ago. It didn't really resonate with me until another fella named Zach Hurwitz started watching me trade, and he said, you know, the levels that you're trading around are VWAP. And I said, who cares about VWAP? I've been trading 35 years. All that is a number at the end of the day to judge whether or not, you know, hedge fund managers are doing a good job. And again, I've been trading 30 years. I don't know if anybody's been doing it that long. I might not look 51, some people say, but yep, I'm old and I'm grizzled and I'm all beat up and I'm injured. I'm a typical 50-year-old guy now. I can't walk down the street without pulling a muscle. But wait, hang on a second. We are about to cover some more cues. Cover 308. We're covering at whole numbers. This is fun while it's happening live right now. And then again, if you did short the cues as soon as I sat down, you should be up about $1.50, and you're already paying for the service that I'm going to ask you to buy later. And that's why I do free trials. Isn't it great where you come into a chat room and there's a trade going on? I tell you what to do. You get involved. Next thing you know, you're making money. And that's why I've been doing free trials. I was the first one in this industry to, you know, kind of launch a chat room. I'm so old. My first chat room was on AOL. Yeah, that AOL. So, you know, it wasn't just for lonely housewives. We took one of the chat rooms and it was actually called Lonely Housewives, and there was nobody in the room. So you were able to invite people into the room. And I just invited 7 or 8 of the guys at the firm. And I was like, why don't we just hang out in the chat room? And if you have an idea, just type it in so we all could be on the same page. And next thing you know, pretty cool idea. We're all hanging out in the chat room. You know, every time we got new people at my firm, and I was one of the head traders at my original firm, we'd throw them in the chat room and we'd kind of babysit them. They'd ask questions in the room. You know, we had about 75 traders in front of us. We had the main desk in the front. And now, you know, originally we had Nextel phones, remember those? Then we had headsets, but then chat rooms came along and I was like, hey, this makes everything a little bit easier. So we started launching chat rooms. And then, you know, what we're doing here now, how easy it is. You click a couple of buttons, you got WebEx, you got GoToMeeting, you got, you know, 10,000 different Zoom type of technologies. Back in the day, you didn't have that. I spent $20,000 building a website just to launch my screen and to have somebody else, the accessibility so somebody else could show their screen. And what a waste of money that was, because got to be 2 years later, what we built was basically an antique. So, you know, all that being said, I've been doing this my whole life, running chat rooms, showing people how to trade. And I got to tell you one thing, everything that I've learned, I learned one thing the hardest way in 2012 and 2013. I have no idea what I'm doing. That's what I learned in 2012 and 2013, because I thought I did. You know, I thought I was doing really well. I started in 97, never saw stocks do what they were doing in 98, 99. I was very skeptical, so I made most of my money on the way down in 2000, 2001. And that's what got me in trouble in 2012 and 2013. Did well during the financial crisis. I was short the Bear Stearns and the Lehman Brothers. And, but that, I'm not going to say it, that arrogance kind of got me in trouble, thinking I knew more about the market than I really did. I was put, you know, again, I was humbled pretty quickly in 2012 and 2013. Those 2 years pretty much ended my career, blew myself up. And the reason it did was because I did well shorting the market in 2000. I did well shorting the market in 2008. So when the market started rallying for some 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, and I get it, the government took over the stock market. Capitalism died in 2009. We all know it. If you're going to keep bailing out people and rewarding them for being criminals and making mistakes and duping the public, if they're going to keep rewarding them, then true capitalism is over. All those bankers should be in jail. Bank of America, I mean, all those banks should have been ruined and never been allowed to come back. AIG shouldn't be a publicly traded company right now, but it is. And again, it's an insult to me. Personally, I take insult to it. So I was sitting there shorting the market like a madman in 2012 and 2013, and I thought I knew more than the market. And the market told me to shut up and get back in your seat, kid. And I got annihilated. And that is when I found what I do today. And that is why I'm short the market now, not earlier, because what you're looking at right now is the only truth left, not just in the stock market. You guys watch the news? Right. This is the only truth left in existence, in the universe. Can't believe anything you do, anything you say. You don't know who to trust, right? This is what you can trust. Because when you look at the market algorithmically, price, what is a stock doing? Not what you think it's going to do, not what some analyst has to say, and for God's sakes, not what Kramer has to say or some investment banker. The investment bankers are the ones that rob your money. They convince you that Rivian is worth $300 a share, and then they crush you. They convince you to buy Roku at $550, and now the stock's at $50, probably going out of business. This is just price. You can't be fooled. You can't be manipulated. You can't be lied to. Because when Goldman Sachs, and again, I tell this story 1,000 times because this is where I made most of my money last year. Goldman Sachs, and if I was able to, if you want to do this for an experiment later, Goldman Sachs spent 6 months while the market was going higher, and I was thinking, hey, this is very reminiscent to 2012/2013. I didn't want to get myself in trouble. But then the magic. VWAP started flashing sell, sell, sell. And at the same time, Goldman Sachs and Cathie Wood, of course, was telling us everything was fantastic, but Goldman Sachs took it to a whole nother level. Goldman Sachs was out there. And if you Google Goldman Sachs says no bubble, Goldman Sachs says no bubble. They spent 6 months, then 3 months, and then they went crazy about in December and January, trying to convince us, the public, the retail trader, the victims, trying to convince us that we're too stupid to know what a bubble looks like. No, I kind of do know what a bubble looks like. I lived through all of them from 97 on. I kind of know what a bubble looks like. And then my indicator on the VWAP was telling me we were breaking under a very, very specific level. The volatility indexes were going up. Everything that was telling me that the market was about to sell off was flashing red, flashing red. And there was Goldman Sachs telling you to buy everything. You're too stupid to realize what a bubble is. This isn't a bubble. You're too dumb to realize what a bubble is. Keep buying stocks. You know why they were doing that? So they were getting us to foot the bill to carry the market while they were dumping everything. Because VWAP, volume weighted average price, is an institutional tool. That's why it works so well. That's Goldman Sachs. So if you're breaking over the blue line, so let's talk about the QQQ right here. So what we call this, and you'll love this one, is what we call a Kardashian bottom or a butt crack breakout. Some people call it a W. I call it the Kardashian bottom because it's more fun. The bigger the butt cheeks, the bigger the breakout. You see where it broke the VWAP, rallied, came back, starts to go down. That forms your W. And what this is also called right here, it's the market's attempting to get you out. You've heard that, oh, the market's shaking the weak hands out. Oh, the market's holding, they're holding it back. They are always doing something to us, right? You'll never be fooled by them again. Because when you see these patterns show up, and if they're around volume weighted average price, you know that real money is going into whatever you're looking at. So the orange line, again, some people call it anchored VWAP, some people call it multi-day VWAP. What I have found since the demise of my career in 2012 and 2013, when I really started using this exclusively, is that when a stock gets over the 1 minute, that's today's VWAP, and it gets over the prior VWAP, 90% of the time, you follow through. It's a pretty damn good way to trade. Because what I've been following this now for 10 years. Uh-oh, what's up? Who's kicking in the tunes? Oh, I like that. I thought that was my head. Suddenly I had Doc Servicing. He was playing music in the corner there. So going back to the story here, 1 minute multi-day VWAP trades, these tend to work. So what I've learned over the last 30 years, first of all, I learned that I really don't know as much as I thought I knew. And then what I also have learned is that nobody knows anything. especially Goldman Sachs, they're either inept or they're trying to dupe you, or a combination of both. Obviously, Kramer is either inept or he's in on the scam, or a combination of both. It's very hard to be that wrong consistently, it really is. But it seems like when you listen to CNBC or Fox News, they're really, really wrong most of the time. So when you came in today and you're feeling, woo, I can't believe this market's going up, neither could I. I thought the market was going to try to gap up today, roll over, and die. That selling at the end of the day yesterday scared me. I was like, okay, we just got suckered. This money is going to probably come out of the market again tomorrow. But yet, here we are. So let's go back to that story in 2012, 2013. Do I fight the market now? If it wants to go higher and the VWAP is telling us it wants to go higher, I say to myself, you have no idea what you're talking about. Do what the market's doing. Okay, I will. And then I buy the cues because I know this trade. When I see confirmation of VWAP breaks, and then a multi-day VWAP, like I said, 9 times out of 10, the market will go up. Now look, this was an extraordinary trade right here. Now, if you're getting an alert, and again, we don't do alerts, I don't do email blasts, I teach and trade live with a crew of about 500 to 1,000 people every day. You know, today alone, one of my great students, Leon, he's in our chat room right now, and he's guiding people while I'm taking a snooze. There's other people in that room that I've taught so well that they have branched out and started their own services. That's how important VWAP is, and that's how important to focus on price. So let me show you a little bit about, you know, again, some of the trades we do, and just a little bit more about what not to do. You heard the word, everybody heard the word scanner, right? Everybody's got a scanner. Scanners are overrated, okay? Because how many trades can you possibly do as one individual on a day? I used to have a scanner running. It was spitting out 45 different ideas every 13 minutes. What am I looking at? Holy cow. I mean, what to choose from? You still need the skill set to sift through the scanner to get to the trade that works the best. So instead of using a scanner, I use just what's called a high-low ticker to scan the stock that I'm already interested in. So this morning, I don't know if you guys saw, you see this stock right here. I had no idea I was going to trade this stock today. Everybody knows Square, right? SQ. I had no idea I was going to trade it. But I have a skill set around volume weighted average price that enables me to trade anything. And the more volume, the better. So when a stock's getting destroyed and there's some crazy volatility, bring it. That's what we want because we use volume weighted average price. So VWAP is going to tell you where the most significant price is of the day because it's taking into consideration volume. My 1,000 shares of Square did absolutely nothing to the stock, but VWAP's telling you where the tens of thousands are, where the hundreds of thousands of shares are, where the million shares are the Goldman Sachs's and the institutions, where their money went into the market. And all we do is we strap in and go for a ride. And what's awesome about this, so here's the collapse, right? So what I've learned is that after a collapse, remember, I'm going to zoom in on some of the trades that we did this morning. After the collapse, right? Again, I'm not going to bullshit you and tell you I was short this stock. You'll probably get 85 emails today about somebody that says they were. That's the scam. Of course, everybody knew what this stock was going to do beforehand, right? Nobody did. But what we do is we come in after the fact. No shame, because if, let's say you were short $75 on Square and the stock's sitting there at 59, how are you going to make your money as a shorter? You're going to have to cover your short. That's where we come in. So what I've learned also using VWAP is that nobody wants to be short once the stock breaks back over the VWAP. But before it even gets there, and again, you see what it's done so far today, before it gets there, we go back to classic technical analysis and we meet that with VWAP. And when I say classic technical analysis, it's not moving averages. It's just price. Only price. You're only focusing in on price. So that's what the red lines are. So I'm going to walk you through, and this is what I do every single day. I walk people through the trade, and then I take questions from the peanut gallery, And then I answer the questions. And then I walk you through the trade. And then we ask more questions. And then we answer the questions like we're going to do tonight. More or less tonight, we go through these trades and then we start talking about options. But let me show you how we walk through these trades. So you saw the disaster, right? I walked in, I said, holy moly, what's going on with Square? You see the spot right there? That we call a pivot point. It hit this level. I highlight the level. So if you're using Thinkorswim, by the way, Thinkorswim, great charting platform. I highlight the candle. I look at the bottom of the candle. And the bottom of the candle was 61.30. I mark it off because that was a moment of significance. Tries to rally off that. And look, you got a little double top right there. I like to mark that off also. So that's 64.75. Boom, boom. So now you got a little range right there. And then, oh my God, it starts to break down into 61.30 and gets hammered again. But then, as I'm watching it get destroyed, all I'm thinking is, when do I buy it? When do the shorts cover? When do I buy it? I don't usually wait. I don't usually short stocks that I've already missed a 22% sell-off. That's kind of chasing the short. We wait and stalk it and wait for our proper setup. So you see how it kind of pivoted off that price down there? There's another moment of significance. Boom. We drew a line right there. If I could draw a line. Bang. And then look at it do what it did down here. You kind of hit one price, you kind of hit the same price. Kind of a double bottom. So when a stock breaks down and keeps breaking down, all we look for is that turn, right? So now we don't know this is the bottom, but now that turn was so close to the magic VWAP that this is where we bought it. So we bought the stock at 59.85. 59.85. So now those two lines of significance that we drew, what do you think those are? Those are going to be our danger zones or our stops, just in case the VWAP trade doesn't work. We are the buyer of the VWAP break. Bang. As soon as it's breaking VWAP, I'm in. The reason I immediately buy it is because my trade is already established. My risk reward is staring me in the face. If I'm buying 1,000 shares right now at 59.87, I'm going to put a 500 stop at 58.75. And yeah, I'm going to bet I have to let this thing breathe all the way down to 59.50. But if you're going to trade a $79 stock that's down 22 points, you got to know what you're getting involved in here. So if you're buying a couple of hundred shares, even on 200 shares, I always put two stops. If I got 300 shares, it's 150, 150. 17,000 shares, it doesn't matter. The trade never changes. The risk reward always is the same. How many shares you buy or how many contracts you buy, that's up to you and how big your wallet is. All we do is figure out where we want to buy and where we think the trade's going to go. So here we go. So we're buying right here, 58.75. Next thing you know, look where it gets back to. Voila! So the price where it broke down from, lo and behold, becomes a double top. It's not a coincidence. Stocks trade back to price. So it broke down from 61.30. We got involved at 58.85. Where do you think we're selling? We're selling 60.5 because half numbers are important. And our target was the 61.30. Hits the 61.30, bang, we're selling some more there. And then as it rolls back over, where we sold on the way up becomes our stop on the way down, and we got stopped out at 60.5. Not a bad trade at all to start the day. And then look what happens. It holds the VWAP, holds the VWAP, holds the VWAP, tries to rally again, gets nothing going. And in this moment, I said, hey, maybe this thing's going to roll over because if it breaks back under the VWAP, it could go back and test the low where it came from. So we went from being long, selling some here, getting stopped out of the rest. And then here it was, breaking the VWAP, wham, we're shorting it. Why not? Make some money. And then look what happened. You went right back to where you came from. And then we started covering here. This capitulation candle, as I explained to my members this morning, I was like, uh-oh, capitulation. And then it came right back. And then we immediately covered because when it capitulates, that's usually the last of the sellers. They got out. We covered our short around here. And now fast forward into one of the best trades, not just of the day, not just of the week, of the year, on a stock that was getting hammered. So now fast forward to what was now a new Kardashian bottom. I'm stretching the chart out so you can see it. There's your crack. There's your high water mark right there. So here's your capitulation. There's a little butt. There's a second. It's kind of like a triple right there. The bottom line is, once the stock establishes itself back above the VWAP, that's your cue. And by the way, we're out of those cues short. Woo! Just got stopped out of the last of my stop on my cues. Not a bad trade. I'll get back to that in a second. But every day is the same exact day. We trade both sides of every name, and we only use one line and price. If you can't learn how to trade VWAP around price, I don't want to be insulting. You might not want to trade. And I have a feeble mind. I'm not a smart guy. 880 on my SAT. My kids laugh at me all the time. My daughter got a 1390. I got an 880. I don't know how she got so smart. It wasn't me. Maybe it's my wife. I guess it's my wife. But wow, nice cover on the cues. Woo! Wow, I got stopped out at 309.50. And I'll show you the trade. Let me just show you why I just got stopped out. I'll get back to that square trade. This was a live trade. You guys heard me when I was saying it, right? The levels where I covered on the way down are my stops on the way up. So I got stopped out of some at 308.71, and I just got blown out at 309.25 and 309.50. And the stock spiked up $1. I could have actually got long right there and made a quick point. Oh, now it's rolling right back over, but this candle just blew me out of my trade. But that's cool because we're short from way up here on that roll. Sorry, apology. Right here. Got short at 311.30 when it rolled back over. So let me go back to that square trade. And then if there's a way that we could all communicate, it'd be a lot easier, because I love taking questions. I love talking to everybody out there. That's what I do every day, and I've been doing this my whole life. Like I said, chat rooms didn't exist before me. Oh, there you are.
I have it now. Listen, on your go to webinar menu, look down where it says questions, and you can pop that right out and see them.
Ooh.
And then what I usually do is I will click on the received column, and I'll make it so the most recent comment is at the top.
Ah, very cool.
Instead of having to scroll all the way to the bottom.
Very cool. All right, so questions. So how do I get the recent ones? Just hit the
see the received column. Just there should be a little arrow there that's pointing down. Make it point up. Just click it so it goes up, and then scroll all the way to the top.
Yeah, it won't let me click. It's grayed out.
Well,
I can look at the bottom. I can see here, QQQ you got out. Was that a double, triple Kardashian bottom? How do I pick a stock to trade? Great question. I'll address that too. And if you guys, here's what I want to do. I know what I did today. It's always going to be the same chart. So what I love doing is I want to demonstrate how this VWAP trading, volume weighted average price, and multiple time frame VWAP trades, how it transcends every stock. I mean, you want to do it with stocks that have volume. You know, again, if you're trading a small cap stock with 200 shares on it today, you're just going to have just a straight line across. It's not going to be a big deal. But if you want to throw some names out there, particularly, I could show them on the chart. You know, I love doing that. But so how do I pick stocks to trade? Right off the news. So what I love about what we do is that there's always something going on. Okay, always something going on. There's always a stock in the news. That's why I was on Square today. And before I get into the whole whole question, I just want to show you this square before we get started, before we even go any further. All trading is knowing when the best place to get in, right? Getting in is easy. Oh, I buy this, I hope it goes up, right? Or I short it, I hope it goes down. Volume weighted average price, again, if you're staring at my chart right now, this orange line, okay, was there before the stock went there. And look how it tagged it right there. So you went from the blue line, 58.71, all the way to $63. And during this time, not only we were in the stock, but people were buying the $60 calls, doing really, really well. Now check this out. So once you get past that 1 minute, this is today's VWAP, this is prior day VWAP, the computer does all the work. And when you join my website, I give you this beautiful setup. Now watch this. It's so easy. You click 2 days worth of VWAP just to see if there's more momentum that could be happening. Now watch this. After it got to the 1 day, look how it nails the 2 day and it basically hovers there. Now take a look at 3 days worth of VWAP and you will be flabbergasted like I was this morning. Hits it to the penny, and that's the high of the day. You'll have to accept that this is not me doctoring a chart. You'll have to accept that I'm not bullshitting you, and that's kind of why I love doing this live. I was amazed as well. And if you were with me live, I was kind of mortified that I sold most of my stock down here because I like taking the profit and I didn't let it ride as much as I could. Now look what you're seeing also. There's that VWAP rejection, and where does the stock gravitate back to? This is what we call reversion to the VWAP. So using VWAP, it gives you a heads up on what side of the stock to be in, first of all. And then in instances like this, where you've got a capitulation and a disaster, it's giving you the entry, it's giving you the stops using the price, and it's giving you the exit. There's not much more to know. And that's why I love what we're doing here, because again, this is now, I've been trading really since the 5th grade. Bar mitzvah money with my dad. My dad's still a trader. You know, he's more of a long-term guy. I don't even have a portfolio. I own 0. I don't do call spreads. I used to love selling naked puts, but now why would you do that? The risk reward is clearly against you. I used to love doing short strangles and just play in the middle, but now you're exposed to too much risk, especially if you're shorting naked calls. It's all risk and limited reward. So what I do is I just went back to the old school day trading Kenny Glick. The Kenny Glick that just traded, and at the end of the day, I'm at 100% cash. My nickname is, well, I have a lot of nicknames. They call me Scan Man, for one. I'd like to show you my cartoon. I'll show you it tonight. And they also call me Liquid and Loving It, because that's what I am. I'm liquid and I'm loving it. Because I don't see the point in owning stocks and guessing where things are going to be when VWAP every day tells me where it's going to be. When you've got an 80 to 90% chance of success and you're holding an overnight where it's 50-50 at best, why even take the chance? And it took me, I don't know, 15 years to finally realize, hey, why don't I just do this? So let me show you what the options look like. And this is what's awesome about Thinkorswim. So if you're thinking, I can't trade a $61 stock, I can't put 58 grand into a name. How about 300? Can you put $300 into a name? Because this same trade, like I said, that's why I trade real stocks. So this trade, you've put SQ, and if you don't know this trick, drop down menu on Thinkorswim, bang, you put the SQ in here. The reason you want to do it is it gives you this option code, which is now clickable. And we built our charts to be able to trade the option on the chart. So now you're looking at the $70, $60 call. So instead of laying out $58,000 like we did on 1,000 shares, here you got it was right here. That was your high water mark. So you're buying an option. It was $2.05. Your risk was about $1.40 and $1.10. Your risk is established by the prices from where they came from. And look at this move. Now, again, it's not factoring in the multi-day because the contract was just built, but look at this move. So instead of laying out 58 grand to make about 1,000, here, if you laid out 1,500, you made 6 grand on the same trade. A lot better, a lot less risky too, and just as profitable. So every one of our trades, and that's why I don't trade small cap stocks. I don't trade most stocks that don't have options. If you don't have options, I don't really think you're a real stock. So I trade, everything I do revolves around whether or not I can optionize it. And again, that's more or less what we're doing tonight. So I don't see anybody really putting in specific stocks, but if you wanted me to look at anything that, anything in particular, but I'll show you a Coinbase. So how do we find our ideas, which is the question I'm still answering? It's what's in the news, and who reported earnings, which is basically the news. I love earnings season because we always have something to look at. And that's the stock that has the most volume, right? So when does it, again, I should have prefaced with that, when does a stock have the most volume? When it has news. When is the biggest news story of a stock's life? When it reports earnings. That's why we focus on that. Now, Coinbase, I don't know what the news was. I think they were being indicted or something. I don't know what the story was, but something with the SEC, they were getting in trouble. And you had this real just choppy, it was kind of bullish. And again, you probably heard of range trading. You could do a range trade, and in this case, volume weighted average price validates your bullishness or your bearishness. So if you're thinking, again, anytime I see a stock tanking, I'm always thinking, when are the shorts going to cover, and when do I buy to help them make their decision to cover? Remember, stock's getting hammered. Somebody was short the stock at 86 from yesterday. Now it's at 60. They're going to want to cover, take their money. So this chop around the VWAP, and again, these are tradable ideas. If you bought the VWAP break right there, 64, got to 66. That's a payday. That's 200 shares. You made $400. Sure, you got stopped out, but then look what happens. You held the same price, and you could do it again. So as long as you trade price and you're on the right side of VWAP, you're generally going to be on the right side of the trade. So here's where it got fun. Okay, here's where it got fun. All this chop resolves into a little tiny uptrend right there. But once it keeps chopping and staying above the VWAP and then breaks the top of the range, if you haven't bought it yet, do it. Because all this chop, all this frustration, and all this annoying motion is getting people to make bad decisions. And then it finally breaks the high of the day. Anybody that's short, they don't want to see it breaking the high of the day. Good, let's buy it, make them cover. So we bought the stock here, and look what happened. You got right up to the $70, double, triple top at 70, rolls back to the VWAP. So I don't see any individual opportunity, any individual questions, but I will answer some of the questions. SOXL, I'll get to that one. FRC, oh, there you go, cool. So, but I want to go back to what Doc was saying. Love the Doc. When people ask, can I do this with a small account? The answer is yes. Can somebody with not a lot of experience do this? Absolutely. I'm training my 14-year-old nephew how to do this. And what's good about learning this, let's say you've never traded before, you actually have a leg up on everybody else because you don't have the bad habits like I do. I had to beat all the bad habits. It was like an AA meeting for me, or worse. I needed to be literally, I had to beat the bad habits out of me. Stop trading options before earnings reports. Stop doing short strangles. Stop doing all the things that I've noticed doesn't work as good as this. So if you're just focusing on VWAP trading, oh my God, it's the best. So here, let me show you what SOXL is. Perfect trade. I trade this stock every day. This is on my main watch list. It's liquid. It has options. There's usually millions and millions of shares traded on it. And of course, let me just say it again, more volume, more better, tight spread, easier to use. Options, of course. So this stock generally moves with the cues. It's the same exact trade. So here's that little butt crack break. There's the 1 minute, there's the multi-day, and there's your breakout. And what a trade it was. And just like the cues, now I didn't do this trade, I wish I had. You see where it rolls over, breaks that pivot point? There's where you're shorting it. So again, with VWAP and what we show you, there's basically only 4 ways to trade. You're either buying a dip, selling the rip, or you're just selling the rip, looking for it to roll, or you're just buying from support and selling at resistance. There's not many things you can do. There's not many things a stock can do during a day. So what we just look for are these specific trade setups, and this is what we call the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. So awesome on the way up, But man, when it breaks back under the VWAP and then breaks that pivot point, look where it went to. It hit the multi-day, tries to bounce. This roll, we call it the finger of God. You guys ever seen the movie Twister? Finger of God, F5 hurricane. Usually when you roll through the multi-day, you start retesting levels from where you came. And those are my red lines from earlier, bang, bang. And look how you got right back to those same prices. So I know I'm talking fast. I know if you've never seen VWAP on a chart, you don't know what you're looking at. That's why I want you to show up today. I want you to show up tomorrow. I want you to show up for the next 2 weeks. I let everybody in for 2 weeks. I don't need your credit card. I don't need to know who you are. No blood samples. I need to jump you in. No tattoos, nothing. Show up. Show up. Let me show you what this is all about. Because let me tell you, when I came rolling in to start the seminar, what did I say? Short the Qs. And if you had shorted the Qs, this is why we were shorting the Qs. 1 minute, multi-day VWAP reversal. And then they got down to levels where we cover, and then we got blown out of the rest. That trade right there might have just paid you for a month or 2 months, or maybe even a year's worth of our time. And again, that's how I roll. I would love to make everybody money so then you could afford to hang out with us. And that's the business model I wish existed 20 years ago. I couldn't find it. Everybody wants money, 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 especially the brokers, especially, no one's out there just doing this stuff for free. That's why you got to appreciate what Doc was saying. Again, if you're confident in what you're doing and you're not confident enough to let people see what you're doing, then you're borderline, the F word. It's not that F word, it's the other F word, fraud. So I love performing in front of other people. I love showing people what this is all about, especially when I lose money. Because if you don't know how to take a loss, you're done. And that's, again, the reason I don't do, the reason I kind of, I'm very skeptical about a lot of people in this industry. Well, that's to say the least. The track record. Everybody talks about track record, win-loss ratio, right? I tell you, it's overrated, right? If I came on today and you saw Kenny Glick went 1 for 19 today, here's his service, sign up now. You're not signing up. But what if I told you I went 1 for 19 and I turned a profit? And that's a real story, because 18 trades that lost 120 bucks using discipline, money management, risk management, and proper discipline. You can't say that word enough. The discipline to take the small loss. You could go 0 for 15, and that 16th trade, wham, you hit a monster. You're down 1,600 bucks, and next thing you know, you make $2,000. I just went 1 for 19, and I'm up $400 for the day. Look at me. And the same applies, right? I've done these webinars, for the last 25 years. I have 19 email addresses that have 75,000 emails a day because I've signed up for everything. I've never seen an email where it said, "We had a bad day today." Do you ever see one? No one ever lost money in the market except for me, apparently. I'm the only one that's ever lost on a trade. It's incredible because I've never seen anybody talk about their losses. I talk about my losses to the point where you're telling me to shut up. Kenny, enough. We understand what you did wrong. But you know what? That is a huge part of trading. Understanding what you did wrong, you learn from that, and then you build from there. And when you see this stuff in action, when you see, wow, it really could be this easy. And again, I should have showed the cues while we were sitting here as they rolled back over. When you start to see how simple it could be, trading's not easy. So anybody says it's easy, this makes it easier. Okay, it makes it easier because there's nothing on your chart except price and VWAP and multi-day VWAP. That is it. All you're looking at is where prices were prior to where you are, and the blue line and the orange line, and you navigate it that way. So if anybody dropped any more symbols in here, I wanna show you some more. Does VWAP trading work for futures? Phenomenal on futures. Check this out. So here's your NQ futures, right? Oop, hang on a second. I like trading the NQ because that's the QQQ. Same exact chart. So the only time I trade futures is when I'm having some sort of insomniac attack and I'm up in the middle of the night. Take a look at this. So again, there really wasn't too much in and out. It was more of a grind up all morning. So this is last night. Here's fast forwarding into today. And again, you see how it tested the VWAP, tested the VWAP. There's that monster multi-day VWAP break. And let's see where we did. We came back, rolling over. It's great. The more you start to see it, again, that's kind of what I was about to say. And that's why we do what we do. The more you see this in action, the more you start to appreciate, wow, it went to that exact price. This is amazing. I've been doing this now for, I guess basically since 2012, just religiously VWAP, right? I'm still amazed. That's how amazing it is. Somebody's been doing this for 30 years. I'm jaded, I'm cynical. I think I've seen it all. Every day I'm impressed on how well this works. And if you could conquer VWAP trading on a daily basis, then you can expand your knowledge base. So you conquer the day, then you go on to the swing trading. Then you go on to the triple winged iron condor that you have no idea what you want it to do. I mean, I used to put on these option strategies. I'm like, now, what do I want the stock to do now? I'm buying the stock, I'm selling a triple wing. All right, I'm taking in some premium. I got the collar with the triple winged iron condor. What do I need now? I don't care about that stuff anymore. I could show you how to do it, but I'd rather see the money, take the money. And that's how we trade on my website. So again, I only got 9 minutes left. Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, let's see. So Goldman Sachs, I mean, you're starting to notice how every chart looks exactly the same because the market's rigged. It is rigged. It is manipulated, but it's all rigged to price. So if you're watching VWAP, you can't be fooled. Here's the Goldman Sachs. There's your reason to sell. The multi-day VWAPs are confirmation of reason to sell. And even on this little attempt to come back, you didn't get over the VWAPs. The sellers are still in control, just like this market as it's approaching lows of the day again. Oh, good questions here. What time frame is the multi-day VWAP looking at? Great question. So what we do is when we're trending, like Square, as it's trending higher, we start looking at multiple days. So I live within the 1 minute and the 1 day. Why do I do that? Because after 10 years, I've realized that's where most stocks are living. They're hanging out near the 1 minute. If they get some momentum on the upside, they generally gravitate to prior day VWAP. If they're rolling over and dying and the stock was lower, you're going to get a prior day VWAP and you're going to see it right there. And when those trades do show up like this Square, like I said, I'm still amazed. So the first thing we were doing, we were buying the blue and we were looking for the first VWAP. So then we have it programmed where you see up there, it says 1 minute, 1 day. Now I'm going to look at the 1 minute and 2 days. And then it told us that the stock had a good shot to get to 64.50, and it did. And then the miracle was that 3 day. So you typed in the 3, hit it right there. But more importantly, look at when it did it again. That became the high of the day. So there are so many benefits to it. My favorite benefit as a bear, I'm a perma bear as they call it. And that's kind of the reason why I got my ass kicked in those 2 years fighting the world. The VWAP won't let me make that same mistake, because what I've noticed more than anything else involving VWAP, stocks do not want to stay down when they're breaking back above the VWAP. And that's why this has become my favorite trade. You give me a disaster, let me know when it breaks VWAP, I'm in. And then if I have prior day VWAP, those are my targets. So you're getting the in, you're getting the out. There's not much more there is to trading. You just have to overcome, the fear. And when you have price, there is no fear. So let me show you a trade that didn't work yesterday, DPST, right? The market's getting crazy with the Fed. And, I'm thinking, all right, maybe they'll save the banks. So right here, the stock is breaking the VWAP right there. breaks the high, and I'm thinking, here we go. But it starts to roll over. What gives? I don't know. I thought for sure we were about to make some money right there, but then it starts to roll over, starts to break those prior prices. And then when it breaks under the prior day VWAP, I'm forced to sell. Now, I didn't get out of the whole thing because the pivot point was right there, but you see how it got back to the VWAP right there and couldn't get over it? Then it tried again, couldn't get over it. VWAP's screaming at me, get out. You got no hope. It's like a drill sergeant standing behind you. What are you going to do? Are you going to lose your money pile? Get out of the trade. And if you ignore the drill sergeant, what's the drill sergeant do? He takes his baton and beats you over the head with it, right? That's what VWAP is. It's the drill sergeant we all need in our life to stop making the mistakes that we consistently make. If you ignore the VWAP, you will learn the hard way that it's not good to ignore the VWAP. And as a shorter, one of the first things I learned, I was like, wow, if I had VWAP in 2012, I never would have stayed short this stock. Man, if I had VWAP, I never would have done that trade. And that's why I invite people to witness what we do, but not just what I do. I'm just a purveyor of the wisdom. I'm just your Neo. I'm your Morpheus. I'm your Oracle. I am the Matrix. I'm just pointing you in the right direction, and then you go to play. You go play with it. And like I said, it took me around 18 months. Again, you're probably smarter than I am. I have a very feeble mind. Didn't do well in school. I was a television radio major, singing and dancing and theater. That's why this makes so much sense to me, because it really is breaking it down into the most simplest terms. Price. You only care about what the stock is doing. You don't care about an analyst. You don't care about what's going to happen tomorrow. Live for the day, conquer the day, and we live forever with no risk, no overnight risk. All right, I only got 4 minutes to hang with you, so let me see if any more questions are being answered. Do I ever anchor the VWAP to Fed decisions? Try that, it'll amaze you. We can. I love anchoring it to reactionary days. That's what I call it. But yep, you take it to the reaction. You know, again, if there's some monster event, you could just do it as what we call custom. So you go into time frame, you do custom, and you go right to that specific time frame, and then you could VWAP right there. Great question, and yes, you can do that. Sherry, you still there? I know we got 3 minutes. Do you want to do something else? You want to give some more stuff away?
I am here. Now, what did we decide about the schmooze? They need to email you, right?
Everyone's going to email me, yeah, and then we're gonna. Most people are going to allow it. I don't want to break the server. Last time we had like 1,000 people show up, and I broke the website. But I think we'll be good. I think we'll be good tonight. Just email me, the Warlock at hitthebid.com. Like I said, I got to get an MRI on my leg. I got really hurt playing pickleball. Make fun of me all you want. Getting old. I got the MRI tonight, but I should roll back in. We'll have a Grateful Dead show being played. I put a Grateful Dead show on. If you like the Dead, you're a friend in me. I'm a big Deadhead. And we tend to have some cocktails. We call it the schmooze for a reason. It's very lighthearted. A couple of my partners show up. We all have silly nicknames. I'm the Warlock. We have 8-Ball. We have Solid Jello. We have Fatty. We have the Minotaur. We have Viper. And of course, Steve. But his name's Peter. But we call him Steve because he didn't want a medieval nickname. And that's it. You come meet our crew. You kick the tires. We show you what this is all about. And then tomorrow, everybody's free to stay with us and take what we did Thursday night and then watch us put it in action on Friday. And again, as I'm always saying, be jaded, be cynical, be untrustworthy. That's why VWAP is so special. It cuts through all the nonsense when you're only focusing on price, and you'll never be fooled again.
All right. So then I think I have another prize, but I think it's a prize for everyone. It's a 2-week memberships free for new visitors to your site.
You got it.
And do they need to email you for this, or email the Minotaur, or do they just go to the website?
Yeah, you could just email us. Yeah, we don't really do much automated stuff. We're kind of a mom and pop of the trading world. But yeah, just email us. We'll get it out to you. And then again,
guys, everybody gets a prize.
Everybody's a winner. Yeah, participation trophies for everybody.
There we go. Well, don't you think the participation trophies for everybody is the reason why the world is kind of messed up now today?
Oh, don't get me started. Yeah,
But
that's
this
exactly.
is different. This is not the same as a participation prize. This
Yeah.
is something that's really going to make a difference for you. So I really appreciate you doing that. And I think everybody, I mean, to tell you, I'm going to say hands down, you got a lot of engagement here today. So thank you for being with us. And you got 1 minute left. What do you want to tell us?
I want to tell you this, just stay liquid. I mean, this is a very, very scary market we're in right now. It's a little confounding to me as a bear. I thought we'd have been rolling over a little bit more aggressively today, but stick with the liquid and loving it policy, or and hitting it and quitting it. I've never been happier. If you're, again, my friend JC said this best. If you're making money but you can't sleep at night, it's not worth it. For
Yeah.
us, I'd rather make a little bit less money and sleep like a baby. So, that's where we're at right now. And, when you come in, you never have to worry about what happened yesterday or what's going on. Disasters are actually opportunities. So while other people are sweating it out, their terrible trade is our opportunity. And that's what I love
Yeah.
about VWAP, especially because, like I showed you with the Square and the Coinbase, those were two
Yeah.
gnarly looking charts today at the beginning of the day. They were great longs for us.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a good night and I hope your MRI comes out good.
I know. Thank you very much. Thanks for everybody for being here. Hopefully I'll see you guys tonight. Good luck, and I'll see you around. Take care.
Have a good day. Bye bye now.
Bye.